Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be making pizza crust. I'm going to be making 4 pizza crusts, and I'm going to be using my sourdough starter. And these are going to sit in the fridge so that whenever we want to make pizza, we can just whip it up and have pizza for dinner or a snack. Okay, so I'm going to get started, and I have unbleached all-purpose organic flour from Bob's Mill. So I'm going to do about 500 grams of that. And I've got my scale here, so I'm measuring. And we're almost there. There we go. Maybe take out a little bit. And this recipe is from Natasha's Kitchen. And it's super easy. Maybe a little bit more there. There we go, 500. And now I'm going to get 12 grams of salt. Okay, and you want to use a good sea salt here. And I'm just putting it directly onto my scale. I've mismeasured before with salt, and then you don't want it in the bowl if it is not a correct amount. So 12 grams, there we are. And I should mention with this recipe, you can use bread flour, all-purpose flour. I am going to be trying a recipe coming up with einkorn to make an einkorn pizza crust. But I'm simply going to add the salt to my flour. Okay, and then I'm going to add 335 grams of water. So I'm going to get my scale again. I just have filtered water here. Actually, it's water from a source in Burnett, so it's an artesian spring water. Get our scale on there, and we're going for 335 grams. Get it to the right unit. Okay. So this is just room temperature water.
What's that?
Okay, 335 grams, and now I'm going to get 100 grams of my sourdough starter. Okay, and I'm going to put my starter in. You want a starter that's nice and bubbly, and you're going for 100 grams of starter. So you fed it maybe 4 to 6 hours beforehand. There we go, that's good. All right, and then I'm just going to mix it together. Okay, and then after I've got this all mixed together, I'm going to let it sit for a half an hour before I knead it. And then I'll knead it for a couple minutes, and then I'll divide it into 4. So this will make 4 pizza crusts, which is great for us. We're a household of 2, and then we can pull it out and make pizza whenever we want. So pizza sauce is really easy too. I like to take tomato paste, add a little bit of water and olive oil to that, and then some spices, and you've got a really easy pizza sauce. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to leave this. I'm going to cover it and then leave it for 2 minutes, or I'm sorry, 30 minutes, and I'll be back. Okay, and so while I'm waiting for that to rest before I knead the pizza dough, I'm going to just open up a can of the tomato paste, and I'll put together the sauce. Now this dough you'll separate it into 4, so you can keep it in the refrigerator for up to a week. Okay, so I'm just going to get my tomato paste and put it into a mason jar. And then I will be adding oil and some spices and some salt. And that will be an easy pizza sauce. I like buying these at Costco. You can get a whole flat of them and then just have them on hand for making your own pizza sauce. And it's the perfect amount for these 4 pizzas. Okay, and so I've got this olive oil, organic olive oil that I got at Costco, so I'm going to pour some of that in. And I just kind of measure until I get to the right consistency. Okay, and I'll get my spices together. Okay, so then I'm going to add my spices. Pretty generous with those. Give that a stir, and then we will add some salt and then water. Okay, and so I'm just putting in a teaspoon of salt. And we'll stir that, and then we will add some water. Just a little at a time. And then this can be stored in the refrigerator for about 5 days up to a week. So same thing, if you're not going to use it right away, and you're getting a nice consistency for that pizza sauce to be able to spread it. Add a little more water. And then we'll get a cap on here and get this in the refrigerator. Okay, so we'll get our lid and our ring on there and get that in the refrigerator. Okay, and so I have freshly milled einkorn here. I'm just going to feed my starters. I divided them into 2 just because I'm going to need a lot of starter most likely tomorrow with baking. And so I'm just going to take note of how much I add and then add the same amount of water. I'm going to get these pretty high. So you can overfeed your sourdough starter and it will be ready the next day. So now we're going to number 4. And 5. 6. And 7. I probably could have put these in quarts, but we'll see how it goes with adding the water. Okay, and I have some water here. You just want to make sure it's not tap water because the chlorine will kill and interfere with your starter. Okay, we'll stir that and see if we can get one more in there. You just want to add equal parts of water and flour. Okay, we'll stir it. Okay, and this is the consistency that you're looking for, just like a heavy pancake batter. The other one I think is going to need a little bit of water. What we're going for is 100% hydration rate, which is a 1-to-1 flour water ratio. And then when it sits, it will autolyze and be ready to use the next day. A tad bit more. And yeah, so I'm deciding if I should make Pop-Tarts. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. There are some other sourdough recipes I might try. But that's all there is to it. We just put coffee filters on top. I'll find one more and then I'll get a little rubber band and just keep that off to the side and it'll be ready tomorrow. Okay, and so it's been a half hour, so I'm going to take the towel off of the pizza crust and I'm going to get some more of the all-purpose flour on my board here and turn this out onto it. It's feeling really good. And then I'm just going to start maybe a little more flour. Kneading that for about 2 minutes. So just pressing it, pulling it towards me and turning it. And then pulling it towards me and turning it. Then a timer for this. And if you had a KitchenAid, you could use that as well. When I was growing up, one thing my mom would make is pizza crust made from the bread dough, and that was really tasty too. I just like the fact of being able to have sourdough in here and using that as the natural yeast. Okay, and we can go ahead and cut this into 4 sections. That's my bench scraper. process, we will knead these into a ball. And so you're going to fold over probably at least 8 times to get it into the right shape. There we go for one. Okay, and I've got these all formed into our little balls for the pizza dough. I am going to take and put this into bags. You can use other containers. I usually prefer glass or even a plastic container, but we are out for right now. And I'm just going to put that down in there and kind of just roll it in the oil. And then I will go to the next bag. Okay, and so I'm going to just tie these bags and I'm going to let them sit on the counter for a little bit, and then I will put them in the refrigerator. And it's really as simple as that. I mean, you guys know as well as I know the price of pizza, you know, if you get it out, it's super expensive, but super cheap to make on your own. And if you guys have a pizza recipe that is from freshly milled greens, let me know down in the comments. I would appreciate that. I am following Greens and Grit and Greens in Small Places, so I think they have a recipe as well. But hope you guys have a great day. Bye for now.